from a scientific perspective, what is the science behind love?
That's one of the most difficult questions in the whole world. I guess that's a difficult question in everyday life, right? Is if you were asked by someone, what is love? You just kind of walk away from them, right? There's no way to answer that. Scientifically, it's pretty similar. There is a lot of really good theories about love, but we run into a lot of problems early on with English, because in English, you love your parents and you love your partner and you love pizza.
It's the same word.
It's the same word, but it's very different. And like loving pizza and loving your partner and loving your parents are completely different things, right? So there's a little bit of murkiness there about how we can study love. And so the investigation of love has taken all of those amazing opportunities and figured out, all right, what happens when we just ask people about love? What do they say? And so there was a huge field about the way that we use the words, and in different languages, the completely different words that come out for te quiero in Spanish, like how much you need someone, right? There is a completely different meaning behind it.
There's an intensity behind it. Yeah.
And in English, we have similar things. We will play around with, do you love them, or are you in love with them?
Yep.
Or are you like in love with them? There are different ways that we play that same game. In some research, I think, which is probably the strongest theory on love, if you were trying to nail down what is love, it's Garth Fletcher's idea, which comes from evolutionary science, and it comes at it from a little bit of a weird angle, which is, think about what happens when you're hungry. When you're hungry, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't food look better and taste better?
Yeah.
So there's a thing that's been evolved in us to get hungry when we need food. And when we need water, we get thirsty. Now, love is the thing that draws us towards people, towards relationships. So the thing that propels us towards other people, even though sometimes it's not nice or it's difficult. The thing that says, you know what, if you're a parent and you have to get up in the middle of the night for the child for 100th night in a row, the thing that propels you to do that, that's love. So one of the ideas around love is it's a motivational state, like hunger, like thirst, but one that fulfills the need for belonging, the need for connection with people.
So it's a survival mechanism or a survival urge?
Yeah, that's a great way of thinking about it. Imagine if human beings weren't interested in other people and we all just wandered around by ourselves. We'd be extinct pretty quickly. Yeah. And that's kind of the idea of where love comes from. In most species that have similar neurochemicals to us when they experience, well, we don't know what they experience, but for animals that have oxytocin receptors in their brains, for example, which is one of the bonding neurotransmitters that humans have as well, those species are the ones that bond and form family units or gangs. And if you've seen gangs of birds and dolphins where they work together, elephants, all of those are using the same neurochemicals as human beings use. And all of those is about survival as part of a group, because alone we're a lot less useful. And together we can benefit from one another. We can benefit from diversity. Humans are very good at diversity and expanding across the world by being very flexible with our environments. And a lot of that, I think, comes down to we can rely on one another. I can be good at one thing and you can be good at another thing, and together we're good at both things.
So love is sort of, I guess, evolution's way of creating community or creating that togetherness.
If you want to give evolution this mystical force of a thing that tried to do something. In science, we talk about it kind of in the reverse of the things that have evolved. Evolution is a description of a process that has already happened. There wasn't anything trying to make us fall in love. It's just the people who survived are the ones who fell in love. And so we keep falling in love.
That's really nice. That's really beautiful. So if that's the science or the kind of theories behind how love has evolved and why love has sort of been selected to continue with, to use like an evolutionary, I think that's me, my year 12 biology coming through.
Sounds good.
Then how would you compare that to what you understand of the realities of love and of how we actually today experience love?
If science has got it right, then I have described the realities of love. I'd hope that the science isn't too far from the realities, but science can take that very large-scale view of thinking about love across 500,000 years from when we were ape things wandering around to now Homo sapiens. So the realities of love is we're not too concerned about survival as a group as we wander around, and the experience of love for a particular individual is highly contextual of what's happening for them. And I think one of the things that social psychology does really well is it says there isn't going to be a standard rule for how love is and how it's experienced in the real world. It's entirely going to depend on what's going on in your life, because people do say that being in love with someone, falling in love with someone and having them fall in love with them back is the best moment of their life, or finding their love for a child and realizing that's what's happening is the best moment of their life. And equally, breaking up with someone, and especially breaking up with someone who you've been with for years or decades, people describe as the worst moment of their life. So love is probably the extremes. If love is happening, then something in the extremes is happening in terms of how happy or how sad they are.
You can look us up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is that you doom scroll your life away. And if you want to see more of me, you can head to Instagram at Goddess by Night.